A lot of times the organizations can't handle massive ideas. Like I produce massive ideas, right? Not just in size, but in frequency on a daily basis, right? And a lot of times they can't handle these massive ideas, not because they can't make the product or handle the funding or or develop the goal, develop the or complete the mission in regards to manifestation. But it a lot of times be surprised. A lot of times it be because the organization doesn't take into account that every idea doesn't need grand slam people, Babe Ruths and Hank Aaron's in front of it, right? There's certain things that you can use everyday Joes and Smoes in order to accomplish the mission, right? The CEO doesn't have to be this outlandish CEO um, that has all the right requirements but needs excess capital up front, you know. And I think in a lot of times that holds up the pipeline of someone who facilitates a whole lot. You feel what I'm saying? Today, if I if yesterday I thought of something that, okay, that's premium, that's A1, it can't just be no Joe Schmo in there, right? And then today I think of something and it's like, oh, I see the demand for that in the public. Um, Levitational cloak, for example. Oh, I see the demand for that in the public, or spinning hand ring, right? I see the demand for that in public. There's a market for that. That can turn to a profit, and producing a product would be easy, right? But who's gonna run the company? And so normally you look to a CEO, and it's like a lot of times people feel like they have to use these grand slam CEOs that know the business, and that's the route um, to guarantee success, and that's not always the case. A lot of times, for some products that I create that doesn't require much mental capacity of understanding and explanation, it doesn't need a well-informed CEO per se. It just needs someone who's willing to do the tasks and the goals. And so we have an organization full of well-informed people, but this organization, many organizations hasn't thought about how are you going to do what you do on your deathbed? How are you going to do what you do when you're no longer here? So when I create something that's like a new slingshot, a new belt buckle, just something simple and that doesn't need someone who has this grand understanding of technology or this niche of expertise, right? And have the resources, right? I want for people in the organization to think, and it's time to start building this system that allow everyday Joes that sign up, right, for this position to learn what they need to do, because you'll have the organization setting up meetings, right? Because you can't forget that the organization has all the contacts, right? So they're already going to set up meetings, right, in needed spots. But is there a system in play if I created something today that can make at value 500 million in possibly 4 years, right? Or 10 years, whatever the case may be, right? Is there a system in play that I can grab any Joe off the street that I believe can handle this task, and he's totally unknowledgeable, unknowable? Is there a system in play that I can that this person can sit there and occupy and use his phone and da 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 da, and be graded by the organization using AI and then completing the mission? And that's what's missing when you're dealing with someone like me. It ain't that I produce too much, and it's not that the organization can't handle the task. It's that there's a missing piece in the system that allows this to facilitate to where it's effortless. Because if I put someone, let's say you put someone in the wrong seat and it doesn't produce, but the investments was there, right? And then someone's like, oh, I would have did this, I would have did that, I would have did this, and this person is a knowledgeable, well-informed individual, he can always be added into the formula and the other person can be extracted out. You feel what I'm saying? So is there a system in place that allows someone who doesn't have all the knowledge, such as myself, to coexist and actually give it a shot? Because we try to wait on this world of people who do all the work to be in a position, but that is an unrealistic reality, right? Because we have grinders who learn as they go and they make themselves up the ranks, and a lot of times they mess up. So is there a system in play that allows this to happen? Because every creation that comes out of my mind isn't worth an A plus CEO, B plus CEO. Sometimes what it needs is an F CEO, right? Because at the end of the day, most of my ideas that come out is already geared towards consumer buy. And the board of people have enough mental know-how and understanding that when a piece is missing, they automatically put it there, right? So is there a system in play that allows for CEOs who never been a CEO to learn how to be a CEO and carry out missions on behalf of the company? So it's like they're in college.